Hey everybody, Fungi here. Long time no see since I did a painting tutorial, so I decided to go back into one. So, today we have the vespid stingwing. Wings, I'm sorry. The vespid are basically another race of the Tau, which have been indoctrinated into the Tau Empire, because they also sort of believe in the greater good, but they mostly joined the Tau to protect their worlds from orcs or necrons. Now, normally the vespid are orange on the box art, or the classic blue so like retro scheme. But for this, I'm going to do my own custom paint scheme, which is based off the yellow jacket. And I will admit this is not custom because I've seen other people do yellow vespid, and I also saw a yellow jacket paint scheme for it, so I wanted to do that because I actually really love it. So as we're going to start off, with the exoskeleton of the vespid, and for that, we're going to start off with the contrast paint Imperial Fist. Oh, also you may notice that I primed the miniature in white, so that way the contrast paint will have a perfect coverage over it. Also, there's not much. The only white I'm gonna keep on the vespid are the neutron blasters, but I will show you how I'm gonna paint them in a minute. So, and also I kind of shaded with the neutron blasters off camera. You can kind of see which is technically my fault because I didn't want to do a video on this, but I thought, oh, might as well. So, check out the paint. We're gonna use Imperial Fist. So what we're gonna do? Check out the Imperial Fist. I might as well use the paint palette because some people could go nuts if I don't. Let's go. I'm going to take a few brushfuls. There we go. Alright, so for the vespid. Onto the vespid. Basically, hold it out like this, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to start putting this all over the white. So for right here, that's everywhere. No, well, not everywhere, but I'll pretty much show you. On the abdomen. Basically, anywhere where you see exoskeleton. Now for the wings, we are going to do part of the wings, and if you get it onto the actual wing membrane, don't worry, we'll just put paint over that later. But as for the yellow, right here, we're just going to go over the wings. Well, the top part. And also, this little armor pack right here, we're going to paint that red later. But the reason being is because so that way I can keep my custom paint scheme and tied together with the strain leader and stuff. Just take your time. Okay, with the yellow now done, we're now going to add the other color to the miniature to tie it all together. So, yellow jackets, well, wasp, but I refer to them as yellow jackets. Basically, they have a little bit of a brownish color on their wings. Now, let me make sure I just find the right paint so I can just make sure what it is. There it is. We're going to use another contrast paint, Gore Grunta Fur. Now, Gore Grunta Fur is sort of a brownish color. But yellow jackets in real life, they have sort of a darker brown for their wings, which makes this perfect. All right, shake out the brush, use Gore Grunta Fur, and now what we're going to do is I'm going to take the smaller brush. You'll see why in just a moment, and also take some Gore Grunta Fur. After you shake it up, put it in the palette like so. Might do a little bit of this, but I'm just using a smaller brush for finer detail. Perfect. Alright, so now, basically where you're going to focus with the Gore Grunta Fur is on the antenna, the wings, and the mouth. So, let me strain some of this out. Basically, what we're going to do is that if you look at the mouth right here, you'll see these little bit of teeth. And don't worry, you can just go over the fangs, these little jaw lines later. We're going to use black. There we go. Also on the antenna. And also, we're going to go to the wings. And don't worry, you can just paint over the yellow. You may have messed up earlier. Alright, now with the yellow now dry, after we've done the Gore Grunta Fur, which is for the wings, the antenna, and the mouth, now we're going to put a shade all over the yellow. So you might be asking, why are you putting a wash all over the yellow? Well, yellow jackets or wasps, or the kind that I see, they are yellow, but they're more of a sort of a mustard-ish yellow. So I'm just going to add a little bit of a wash to mimic what they look like, which is more of a mustardy brown kind of color. So for this, we're going to use a wash. Let me move this out the way just for a second. We're going to use Seraphim Sepia. So Seraphim Sepia is basically, a wash like I said, and basically this is used for bones, for bone color mostly, but is really great for yellow if you want to make like a darker yellow tone, like say, or like ochre. from the pot. I'm just putting this in from the pot off camera so I don't mess with it. So what we're gonna do, take the wash, put some on your brush, make sure not to overload it, and basically what we're gonna do is that if you look on the vespid, we're basically gonna put a wash all over the yellow parts, just the yellow. So as you can see right here, it doesn't overpower the yellow, but you can still see the yellow and it has that nice sort of natural yellow that yellow jackets have. Just make sure you do this all over the yellow. If you get this on the feet or the claws, don't worry, we'll be painting those a different color in a moment. Alright, but the Seraphim sepia now dry. It has a nice little has darkened the yellow a little bit, but not too dark. So now we're going to start getting ready with some of the detail, with the color that's going to be all over the miniature. Well, not all over, but you know, a lot. For this, we're going to use Black Legion, and another contrast paint. So basically, what we're going to do is that we're going to start adding the yellow jacket stripes and the little dots that you see on Vespid. So what we're going to do, and also some on the gun, Neutron Blaster. So for the Neutron Blaster, basically, and also their hands and feet. So Neutron Blaster, basically there's this little panel right here, I'll show you where it is, where you paint right here with Black Legion, or whatever black paint you got. It's right here. Also for their fingers and claws are literally nothing but black, and so is their bottom with their feet. I'll show you where. So for the feet, basically right here, you can just look, and you can see this part, like right here, it's all black. And this can really save you some time, and that's why I said it's fine if you get yellow on it right now. And as for the lines, which we're going to see here in a minute, basically what we're going to do, make sure there's not very much paint on your brush. So as you can look right here, see this little line right here, we're going to take this brush and gently put our brush in the thing, but have it hang out a little bit onto the flat panel. See, like that. And as you can see, we're not adding too much black, and we're also not not making it too much over the yellow. So 2 stripes on each shoulder. And then as for the abdomen, you go in every recess of the abdomen. I'll show you in just a minute. So for right here, like this. Take a very steady hand. You can even hold your breath if you need to. Just hold your breath or whatever and just make sure it's very steady. And as for the other black parts, it's basically the little dots. So as for the dots, basically it's all over it's mostly on the exoskeleton right here on the feet or on the knees and the shoulders. Watch this. So you can just gently watch this. So you can just gently do this. Make sure not to make the dots not too big so you don't have to clean it up later. You can make them as big or as little as you want, but I do recommend keeping them kind of small so that way it still looks like a pattern. On the knees and also the shoulders. Alright, with the black now done, which is basically all over the miniature, in the places where I said, like the gun, the claws, and even the stinger. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to the red. So as for the red, there's a little pan of metal piece right here on the back. I'm just doing that right now so that way I can keep my paint scheme a little bit aligned. So that way I don't have to worry about the white, and you know I don't have to. What's the other thing? Oh yeah, keep them in cohesion with my other special units. So for this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use Flesh Terror's red. We will be using a different red for the eyes, but we'll get to that in just a moment. So what we're going to do, we have the small brush again. We're going to take some Flesh Terror's red, put it on the palette like so, and basically we're going to paint all over the armor. Don't just try your best not to get all over the exoskeleton, but if you do, don't worry. You can just base coat with white and use the yellow paint, or you can just paint over it with a different yellow layer paint if you choose to highlight this. With the red on this back now done, we're now going to focus on the eyes. Vespid have 6 eyes, but they're actually really easy to paint, given that you have the right brush. So for this, we're going to use a very, very bright red. Now, let me make sure I find out where it is. There it is. We're going to use Wild Rider Red. You can paint the eyes however you want, but I just want to use red so that way it kind of goes well with all the warm colors I'm using. So what we're going to do is that right here. Takes a little bit of Wild Rider Red, put on the palette. We don't need much, just a teensy bit. And what we're going to do, paint individual by. Why did I say peach? Just barely touch it. There you go. Just barely touch it. And as you can see, we're getting a nice color on the eyes. Alright, with the eyes now painted, we're now going to paint the teeth, which are those little things right there. So for this, you can use any color you want. I'm basically just going to use a simple layer paint of Screaming Skull. Just going to shake up the paint like so. What we're going to do, take some Screaming Skull, put on the palette like so. Thin down, but not too much. Because you want just enough to to coat the teeth. So what we're going to do, look at the teeth. You don't have to paint the teeth if you don't want to, but watch this. So do it very, very carefully. And all we're going to do is going to paint the teeth. Be very, very careful and gentle. Just keep this up and you'll be done. Alright, with the teeth now painted, we're now going to move on to the neutron crystal, which is on their blaster. So for this, we're going to use a nice vibrant green. We're going to use Striking Scorpion's green. Now, basically, what we're going to do with the Striking Scorpion's green is that we're just going to paint the neutron crystal and that's it. And if you get this on the white, don't worry, you can just reapply some white later. What we're going to do, take some Striking Scorpion's green. We don't need much, just put a little bit. And what we're going to do is this. So, only on the crystal. Just paint this just paint this on the crystal. Sorry, I was out of frame for a second. Just paint this all over the crystal. There we go. That's the neutron crystal done. Alright, for the last part, we're going to paint the blaster. For this, we're going to paint the gold on the weapon. I'll show you where it is. So for this, we're going to take a gold paint. For this, we're basically going to use Retributor Armor. So shake up the paint like so. Basically, what I'm doing with this is that I'm just base coating the little like circular thing that you see on the thing. I don't know what it's called, but so what we're going to do, take some Retributor Armor. We're going to put it on the palette. Basically, what we're going to do, you don't need much, you just need very little. So for this, for the gold, basically it's this little circle part right here. I'll show you. So right here. And it's just this, and this is the only part that is gold of the miniature. Now, for the last part, we're basically going to use a shade all over the gold. So for this, we're going to use Axor Shade. Now, yes, I do prefer to use flush washes because it looks nicely over the gold, but you can just use this for the gold right here. I just want to make it like gold, just like a different type of gold. That's all. So, take some Axor Shade. We don't need the palette. We just need a very, very little. So I will take a little bit on the palette. I will put it up. I said I don't need the palette, but we'll need it just in case. So what we're going to do, just apply this all over the gold and that's it. Now if you're wondering what I shaded the gun with earlier, basically it was just white and a thin down Nuln Oil. See, the shade is settling nicely into the gold. And as you can see, it's giving that nice characteristic that the Tau have with the little parts on their blasters. Alright, with all the paint applied, and we're actually finished. This is the Vespid guard done. Now, this is the guard, so basically a standard Vespid, but I have used it on my other stuff as well. So just a shade strain leader. No, I'm sorry, the leader strain. Basically, he's the leader of the kill team squad. The vespid come in because you can only get the vespid new models from kill team, which I actually do like because yeah. As for the helmet, I use the reflectors red. I just wanted to add like a blue stripe with whatever blue I had, just to give mine a little accent. And as you can see, it's the same color, same pattern. So, and this is the Sky Blast. The Sky Blast is essentially the vespid with a neutron grenade launcher, which I also painted in the same color scheme, just a little bit different model, of course. This is another regular vespid guard I painted yesterday. Basically, same method. I'll paint the teeth later to show some of the fellows I play Warhammer with. But yeah, this is a regular vespid guard. And as for this one is really cool. This is the Shade Strain. It's essentially a special type of vespid that I've seen. Not the sergeant, but he has a helmet, which I use red for, the blue stripe, some gold on his armor, blaster, and also the white that you see on Tau, and also with the same method and paint scheme. And as for the last one, which is the Long Sting, it's basically a vespid with a railgun rifle, which is painted a little bit differently because it actually has blue glowing, which is part of the acceleration thing that shoots the rail out of the weapon. And as you can see right here, I painted the eyes and everything in the same manner. So, these are all the vespid I painted so far, other than the one I just finished. But yeah, and also, there's a little token that they get in the box. This is actually a model in the kill team, but it's actually not a separate model in the, package, which is the oversight drone, which is what I have here. Basically, a little drone that are sent by the Tau to make sure the vespid are doing what they need to do. So yeah, this is how you paint the vespid that I wanted to paint. But of course, feel free to paint your miniatures however you wish, but if you wish to follow this paint scheme, feel free. And I really hope you enjoyed this painting tutorial. Happy painting! Bye bye!